This is the News at 4.
Welcome to the News at 4. I'm Brenda Rodriguez. Joe has the day off today. We start with this. The man accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students in November of 2022 appeared in an Ada County courtroom this morning for one of his last hearings before trial. Bryan Kohberger had a pretrial conference ahead of his trial, which begins with jury selection in late July. Our Morgan Romero was in court today and joins us live from outside the courthouse. And Morgan, do we now have a better idea of how this trial might play out?
Absolutely, we do, Brenda. And I was sitting right behind Kohberger today in that pretrial conference. He was wearing a white button-up shirt, a tie, and khakis. It was a fairly standard pretrial conference with most of the information coming out about scheduling and logistics in regards to jury selection and the trial itself. But of course, looming over the hearing was the sheer amount of publicity surrounding this case. Judge Hippler even told attorneys he doesn't want to sequester the jury from the start, but the more evidence and information that comes out in the media ahead of trial, the more difficult it makes things. Judge Hippler started today's hearing by tying up loose ends, including the defense confirming they saw prosecutors' 3D model of the house where the murders happened, which we know will likely be used as an exhibit during trial. Hippler broke down the trial process in stages, from opening and closing statements to how exhibits need to be presented. He said voir dire, the questioning of potential jurors, will be similar to the high-profile Vallow and Daybell cases. Kohberger's trial begins with jury selection, as Brenda mentioned, on July 30th, followed by opening statements on August 11th. The defense and prosecution will next review the judge's questionnaire that will be sent to potential jurors, but the public, even the media, will not see those questions. Hippler wants to get around 55 potential jurors before attorneys are able to start the peremptory challenge phase. Interestingly, the judge changed his mind on Friday on the number of alternates he wants. There will now be 8 alternates, he said, and 12 jurors. Judge Hippler gave the defense until the end of next week to provide evidence supporting their claim that another suspect or suspects actually committed these murders. That's scheduled for arguments on the issue on June 18th.
Provide me with whatever actual evidence you have that supports those allegations, rather than just allegations. And 2, provide for me how it is you believe that what you are offering is admissible.
Kohberger's trial will be live streamed on the court's website. There were also 2 hearings closed to the public today, one before the pretrial conference and one afterwards. Based off whatever was discussed behind closed doors this morning, the judge told attorneys in the pretrial conference today that he's issuing a new administrative order relating to preserving records about potential violations of the gag order in this case. He said he's open to bringing in a special prosecutor to look into any violations. Now, of course, this trial was moved from Latah to Ada County because there's a higher likelihood that they'll be able to find a more fair and impartial jury here, because Ada County is a much bigger county than Latah. But along with the publicity and media attention in this case, they're also going to be confronted with the challenge of finding jurors who are open to the death penalty. Brenda?
Yeah, and moving it out here, I'd be curious to see how that plays out. But you talk about the questionnaire that's going to be sent to potential jurors. How many people will receive that, and how does that process work, Morgan?
Yeah, Brenda, I asked about that today, and there's no definitive answer at this time. I imagine that will be coming in the weeks or months ahead, certainly ahead of the end of July. But we can compare it to the Lori Vallow Daybell case, as well as the Chad Daybell case that were here in Ada County. In the Lori Vallow case, about 1,800 questionnaires were sent out to potential jurors, and in the Chad Daybell case, it was more than 2,000 questionnaires were sent out. And again, they whittle it down from there. But those individuals are summoned here to the courthouse to fill that out.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Morgan. Of course, we have our previous coverage on our website at ktvb.com.